Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Catherine Joe Show. I am your host, Catherine, and welcome back to episode 2. I am so excited. I got some good feedback from friends who listened to the first podcast, and I'm very excited to keep going. My goal is to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday episodes, so trying to do 3 a week. I am talking to some people to do some interview episodes coming up. But again, just kind of really focusing on lifestyle. And talking to another friend earlier today, I was able to kind of better articulate what I mean about lifestyle is that everybody has a lot of things in their life that make their life what it is. And those are the things that I want to talk about, what they've gone through, what they are doing, and all of that. So today, I want to talk about a very particular thing, and it is 2 words. What if? And what brought this up to me, and is something I deal with off and on quite a bit, was I have a friend who has several children, and one of them is a toddler. And every time this little toddler sees me, she will come straight to me, no matter who else is in the room, with her little arms open and wants me to pick her up and just hug her. And she'll just wrap her little arms around my neck and just stay there with her head on my shoulder until I put her down. And it is the sweetest thing in the world. And it makes my heart so happy when she does that. But there's also a little bit of pain included in that. And it's because, to be totally honest and very frank, I can't have kids anymore because of the cancer. And that's something that I'm still dealing with. I'll be totally honest with you. And I I was someone who always wanted a really big family my whole life. I grew up in a big family. I wanted a big family. And that just doesn't seem right now to be what God's will is for me. And so I have to deal with that. And what made me think of the 2 words, what if, or what if I could have kids? What if never got cancer? What if I had met somebody younger and gotten married younger and maybe they found the problems that I was having sooner? What if, what if, what if? And I think we all struggle with the what ifs. What if I had not gotten chronic fatigue and could continue on with my career in blind rehab, didn't have to sell my house, all of those things. And I realized this a long time ago when I first started dealing a lot with the cancer and I got through it. I didn't deal a lot with the what if in the middle of going through cancer and all of that. But it really hit me afterwards, and it still does. I still find myself thinking, what if? And one thing that I have learned is, and often I will articulate this out loud and just to say it to myself so I hear it with my own ears. You cannot live in the land of what if. And I think this can be applied to everybody because I think we all have those moments in our lives where we're just saying, oh, what if I had just done this? What if I had made a different decision, waited 5 minutes, said something different, all of that. I think we can't live in that life. We can't live in that world. We can't let those 2 words take control of what we do. And that's something, especially, I'm finding, especially lately in the past year or so, I've been really struggling with the what if issue and finding myself going to the land of what if more often than I would like. I'm pretty good at not setting up camp there. It's taken a lot of work and dwell on it a lot. But I will sometimes find myself there without even realizing it. I don't even know what triggers it. And I'll be sitting there whether it's around friends with kids, or I will just be on Facebook scrolling and I come across a Facebook page related to my former career in blind rehab. And I'll sit there and I'll get really excited and I'll find myself thinking, oh, I got to try this on my next lesson. Except I'm not going to have a next lesson right now because I can't do that kind of work at the moment. And this is kind of what helps take me at the same, it's that trigger of reading that Facebook post or something, or seeing the children of my friends, and that triggers me to go into the land of what if. And I'm like, oh, I can't. Why? I want to, but why can't I? And never ask why, because you're never going to get a satisfactory answer. But what helps me pull them out is other really small but impactful words. I can't teach that lesson yet. I can't raise a kid right now. If I add the words yet and right now onto that negative beginning, it's what helps pull me up and out of that land of what if. But I have to make a very concerted effort sometimes to remember those 3 words, to add them onto that sentence. And then the other thing that I will do is I'll try to sit back and look at, what am I doing now? I will quite literally start listing off the things that I have been doing. Now, sometimes they're as small as, I got the dishes done today. Because there are days with chronic fatigue where even doing dishes is just more than you can handle. And to sit there and be like, okay, I did my dishes. They're all nice and clean. They're drying on the counter. I accomplished something. Okay, that's good. Today, I actually accomplished a couple things. And I have to look back at this and be like, what have I done? Well, today, something I put off was cleaning out most of my car. Since I moved recently, oh, my car has become scary. So I had to give, I very wanted to give 2 friends a ride today, and as a friend, her daughter got in the back. I'm like, oh, this is embarrassing. She's standing on water bottles. I'm just like, okay, no. I have to get this done. So we visited as I drove them to their destination, and then I went home, had some dinner, and rested a little bit. And I'm like, nope, I have to go to the grocery store. So before I do that, I'm taking the garbage bag down and I'm cleaning this car out. Done. I accomplished something. So not only did I get my car cleaned out mostly, I also got all the dishes done. Looks nice and clean in the kitchen. Makes me happy. And I have to go back to, okay, maybe I can't do these bigger things, but I can do these other things. So I am still doing things. I am still accomplishing things. The other thing that helps me pull out of the land of what if is looking at where I can move forward to. And I do have goals that I'm setting. They're not huge, massive, life-changing goals. I have to be careful about getting too worked up and too big of a goal because then I will end up wearing myself out, pushing too hard to get it. And then I land back in the land of what if again. So 2 things that I'm doing is I'm starting to volunteer more. I volunteer with a nonprofit in my town. I'm hopefully going to start volunteering a little bit more at my church. So that's another thing that I will focus on when I fall into that land of what if. I'm putting time in volunteering. It's not a huge amount of time. It's a few days a week, a couple hours a day. But what I love is that, okay, maybe it is only a couple hours a day, a few days a week, but it's putting me back into that routine that I had when I went to work a little bit. It's not always easy, but it does give me that little push to get moving on those days that I do the volunteering. So that helps me pull out of the land of what if. And the other thing is that I'm doing a couple projects for myself. I am working on a children's book that I wrote. I wrote it about a year or two ago, and I've been trying to find an illustrator for it, and I finally did. And she's wonderful. It's like she can see inside my head and knows what I'm going for. And so we're working on actually getting that published, hopefully by mid-August of this year, 2025. And so I remind myself that's a project that's moving forward. So I'm moving forward. I have things coming. And I will sometimes start setting up too many things, especially when I really get deep into that land of what if. And two things are guaranteed to throw me deep into the land of what if. Children, wishing I could have children, wishing I could have that big family, and my career in blind rehab, thinking, am I ever going to be able to do that again? I mean, I have the knowledge, I have the skill, I just don't have the physical ability to do it because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of physical ability to do it. And so what I will do is I'll be like, okay, I've got to move forward. I got to set goals. And then I will sometimes set too many goals. But one of the things that I guess I want to really have come out here is that if you find yourself slipping into that land of what if, here's maybe these ways of getting out of there will help you, maybe not. So I can't do XYZ yet. I'm unable to do XYZ right now. What I can do is ABC. What I'm going to set a goal for is this. And these are the steps I'm going to take. And I'm not going to say that I can just logically walk myself out of the land of what if. I'll freely admit that logic is not always my strong suit. At least I feel that way. But it does help to have this very concrete direction, a path that I know I can follow and I know it's going to lead me back to a better place. But before it leads me back to the better place, I will admit that, sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes I will wallow a little bit in the land of what if. I'll wallow. I'll think about kids that I'll never have. I'll think about the excitement that I always had doing my job in blind rehab and the adventure it felt like, and that wonderful feeling of seeing a client accomplish something that they've been working hard to do. And it's hard. It's hard when you're sitting there for a moment in the land of what if and trying to figure out how do I deal with this emotionally? Logically, I know how to get out of there. I know the steps I have to take. But emotionally, you kind of have to push through that a little bit more, little harder. And I think the emotional step out is harder than a logical step out. And so, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say you're not going to cry. I'm not going to say you're not going to feel angry, disappointed, uncertain. Those are all emotions that we all have. They're all there. But then you have to take a deep breath. Realize the world is not over. It really isn't. I mean, I step back and I think, wow, I've got a lot going good for me. A lot. I've got friends around. I've got family. I've got projects. I've got ideas and goals. And life is good. It's different, but different's not bad. Different's just different. And so, after I've taken however amount of time I take to just let my emotions feel, do a little what if, I then remember, okay, we're going to try really hard to just say, okay, I felt the feelings. I acknowledged my feelings, but I don't want to stay here. The land of what if is a sad place for me. And I don't want to stay in a sad place. I want to be back in my life, my present, my today, my right now, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. I have a sweet little apartment that I am sitting in right now. I am looking at my adorable little puppy sound asleep on the other end of the couch. I am working on the second episode of a podcast I've been wanting to do for years. And I'm happy. And I much rather be in the land of today, the land of in the moment, than to be in the land of what if. So I encourage you, when you find yourself in that land of what if, and then you find yourself starting to take up residence in the land of what if, this is when we have to say, okay, yeah, it's sad. Those things are sad, but I don't want to live my life sad. I want to live my life in the present, not the past. The past is always going to be there. It's always going to be there somewhere in the back of your mind at the very minimum. But you don't have to live there. You can learn from it. You can draw lessons. You can realize how you've changed and be happy about that. But you want to take whatever logical route is going to walk you out of the land of what if and back into the land of today, the land of right now in this moment. And I hope and I feel like this will help you better appreciate where you are right now and move forward, because life doesn't stop. I know sometimes we wish it would. I mean, you'll hear people say, somebody stop the world, I want off. It doesn't stop. It just keeps moving forward. We just got to keep moving forward. Visit those other lands if you must. And I feel like the more that I focus on what's happening right now in my life, the less I find myself going to that land of what if. You know what? Maybe it is sometimes when I see my friends' kids, or I get that amazing hug from my one friend's little girl. Instead of shifting back to that land of what if I had been a mom? What if this was my little daughter running up to me and putting her arms around me? I stop myself. I close that door. I stay in the moment, in the present. And I just enjoy that hug. I enjoy the feel of those little kid arms around my neck, and that little head on my shoulder, and just all of that. Just live in that moment and enjoy that, because that's what's real. Living in the present is what is real. Living in the land of what if is sad and not real. So let's all just try to live in what is happening now, moving our lives forward, letting the happiness win over the sadness. If you visit the land of what if, great, but don't live there. Come back to the present, the land of the now, the land of in this moment. And remember, brings us back around to yesterday, that'll bring the smile to your face. Instead of tears of frustration from the land of what if, when I get that hug from that little girl, I get a smile and my heart is happy because I'm staying in that moment with that hug from that little girl and enjoying the hug that's actually happening, instead of wishing, what if this had been a hug from my daughter? I can't change that. But what I can do is be in that moment and be present. And I think that's what we all kind of have to work on, and all in our own different ways. of learning to be more present. Well, that's pretty much the end of what I wanted to say today. I am planning to be back again Friday. Hopefully it'll drop either Thursday night or Friday with the next episode. And I'm really hoping to keep that Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine going. As I said before, I am talking to some friends that I have to have some more kind of interview back and forth. Hopefully the next week or so I'll have those out. But I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Go on outside. If there's sunshine, tilt your face to the sun, close your eyes. Don't ever look at the sun, but let your face feel that sunshine on your face. If it's raining, go outside and feel the rain on your face. Smell the pine trees. I don't know about you, but pine trees smell lovely when it rains. And just find those things to make you happy, to make you smile and laugh, and stay in the land of the present. Be present, be in the moment, and keep moving forward. Have a wonderful day, everybody. God bless.